David Rosenberg. Yeah.
Perma bear, Robert. You came up with that term?
No, no, that's his reputation name.
Reputation. On this episode of Real Estate Chat with
John de Perez.
and Robert Eid. We're going to be talking about an article that Robert shared with me. Get ready, the Fed has cause for pause. So we're going to share this article into the Real Estate Chat description. Make sure you click like and subscribe. So there is Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. And if we're following the United States and where they're going through, there's been recent articles beyond this one. There's been recent articles calling the recession over and calling for rate hikes are going to be over and the tightening is done. And I guess the loosening comes next. And all of you real estate chat readers can voraciously consume this article as you wish. Robert, we talked about this in a not so recent episode, but is the doom and gloom gone? Is like everybody forgotten where we are as far as this economics business cycle, and is everything okay again?
Well, everybody jumps on the bandwagon and then jumps off the bandwagon all at the same time. So David Rosenberg, the perma bear, that's his name, is always the contrarian. He's always pointing out things from the bond market or the risk on, risk off, talking about in terms that we don't think of, but this is his life. And so he's saying, okay, well, if you're going to have a pause, then here's what history says. If we go back to 1960, if you have nothing happening, no up for 5 months, that means you're at the end. And after that, 10 months, you're going to get the first down. So he projects that out, that if nothing happens in January, then come May, June, he says, you'll see a quarter point rise. Now, quarter point off, who cares? But it's not up. And this is he did coin the phrase, flat is the new up for prices in bonds and stocks and stuff like that. So if you were expecting things to trail off and lose another 10% and it stays flat, then that's good. It's as good as you're going to get. It's not down. So he is projecting into the future what the previous behavior of the stock market and the bond market and the price of gas all adds up together. So we've got a few other loose ends happening economically worldwide that might bring down inflation faster. Like the government of Canada is now talking about removing heating oil, but only partially, but now they're being lobbied to expand that. And our Tiffany Macklem was caught at a committee meeting last week saying, that would bring down inflation as we read it by quite a bit considerable sum, 0.8 or something or other if they did that. So the solutions that we've been recommending for a year are now becoming apparent to the people that have to make a decision on what to do because they don't want it to stall out just before they're going to have an election. American election coming next year, and probably Canadian election at the very most early 26 we're going to have Canadian election. So can't have it go lousy just before an election because then the boss gets blamed for everything. So I forget the original question.
Well, I mean, changing times ahead, and I think what I mean, this is a real estate chat, so we take it wherever we decide we want to take it. But in mirroring what's happening in the U.S., and if Canada is just following what's happening in the U.S. and the Fed
They
is
are.
paused,
They are
and
because it's the Canadian dollar. He can't let the Canadian dollar go down. So anymore. He
so
can't.
do
So
we?
our
So do
Tiffany.
we?
So he's following exactly what happens in the United States,
Okay, do we?
105%.
Do our real estate chatters prepare for a housing rally, or is this too early to call because prices haven't been beaten down? I know you hate average prices, and it's I guess it's the easiest way to refer to price movements and
It
all that,
is.
but
We
it is.
use
But
that as the benchmark, and we see it. There's some reason that we shouldn't trust it. We trust it until we shouldn't trust it. It's just like the new listings. We trusted it implicitly for years, and now we can't trust it. We have another way of working around it. Anyway, so the mix of properties that sells every month is what we're concerned about. And then we take that down another level. We say, what's happening with Joe and Sally buyer what's happening with Tom and Louise seller is really what we're talking about. So we try and imagine what they are doing, and we see that we got the same old categories we talk about. First time buyer with nothing to sell. He's looking for an advantage on the buy. Last time seller with nothing to buy, looking for the time to cash out at maximum dollars. This is my last time I get a chance to sell this. The trade up buyer, he's looking around cautiously. He says, okay, I can't get 2 million for mine anymore. Can I get 1.7? Oh, I can only get 1.5. Okay, well, does that change anything? Well, I'm going to try and get it on the purchase because he's buying up. So the relators are now saying, trade up buyer, it's an opportunity for you because you might be selling yours for a little bit less, but you're buying for a lot less. So, I think everybody's going to make a living. Like all you're looking for is one or two customers, new customers a month. So everybody's got an idea. So what's going to happen? Nobody knows. And going in from November to February, nobody knows because
Well,
we have
get
a
ready.
regular cycle that happens. And I think I gave it to you earlier on that sometime by February the 15th, we find out whether we're going to be selling next year, 24, at this year's price, 23, meaning whatever couldn't be achieved in 23 is now achievable in 24, or are we going to have to go higher or lower from last year's price to this year's price come February, March?
Well, you and
Next
I
year.
are going to work on that projection episode for what 2024 will look like based on the expertise of your calculations and what we feel about the market. But rally now? Do we keep waiting? Again, Robert, you mentioned
Oh,
all the
you're
different.
looking for the seller. You're looking for the seller. If you're a buyer, you're looking for the seller. You're not a buyer at anything. You're not a buyer at any street. You're looking for the best house on the best street with the best terms. And there's nobody else on it. And so you can negotiate like a madman. That's what's
And
going
there's
to
still
happen.
opportunity. So, Robert, there are
There's
still
still
opportunities.
opportunities because the seller's going to say, well, okay, I'm not getting 2 million for it, but I only paid $175,000 for it. So for if I get
Oh, real estate
1.75, it's good.
real estate chatters, Robert and I have seen the price drops and what properties are selling for. And we can tell you straight up that there is a lot of motivated sellers out there. Um, you just got to find those opportunities. So working with your realtors, or if you have any questions, leave it into the comments, into the chat, share with us what you're looking for, and maybe we can help you out in that direction. Thanks for watching this episode of Real Estate Chat. Stay tuned. Keep an eye out on your market and the deals and opportunities out there. And if the time is to buy and you have the budget and the means for it and can justify a purchase, by all means. Thanks for watching. Take care and bye for now.
See ya. Bye, bye.